In terms of letting your child do therapy alone, I think that's an individual decision based on the family, parents, child, and clinician.
I honestly think it really depends on your child's age and their stage of development.
I always encourage all of my parents to be involved in the session. I have parents tell me that they think their child will do better without them, and that is the case for some. Sometimes there are behaviors when parents aren't involved.
Here, I have some children who do really well with parents and caregivers in the room, and others who might go to the mom or dad or grandma for comfort, or to try to kind of escape what we're doing in therapy. So I think it's an individual decision, and you should definitely speak with your therapist about it. I always encourage parents to come into the sessions, and then if I'm noticing that maybe it's a little bit challenging with whomever in the room, I might suggest that we try a session without the parent present and see how it goes.
I really need them to be in the therapy session so that we can learn together to help their child.
Our therapy is done without the parents present. Sometimes with our little ones, the parent starts in the therapy room until the child's ready to separate. And I understand the power of parents learning what to do with their children, but I also really believe in the power of the relationship between the therapist and the child learning that they can trust that therapist to help them through this journey. I feel like once our little ones trust us, and they know that we're there to help them in things that are hard, therapy starts to get unlocked faster.
For older children, that might be a reasonable thing that they can do, and they want to be independent.
In my experience, when my son was younger and nonverbal, it was helpful for me to sit in on the sessions. This allowed his speech therapist to guide me on how to work with him at home. And as he got older and developed verbal speech, it became more effective for him to attend sessions independently. While I would follow up with the therapist afterward to stay updated on what they were working on in the session or where he was, or maybe some problem areas that we could work on at home, letting him ultimately attend therapy alone helped him and his therapist build a stronger rapport and focus directly on his needs.
There are other ways that families can watch sessions, either through like the clinician taping the session, sharing it with mom and dad, or if you have like live stream to Zoom or what have you. There are creative ways you can get mom and dad involved if for some reason it's hard for parents or caregivers to stay in the room while their child is receiving therapy.
I think that parents should always be involved in the therapy because then you know what your child's able to do. You're able to reinforce things at home. So if you can't be within the room, if the location has a way for you to be maybe outside the door so you're at least hearing what's going on, but you want to be able to know as much about that therapy session as possible so that you can help your child at home, and benefit them that way.
I understand that parents want to try techniques at home and do carryover. So we are really big on meeting with our parents frequently. We give them like a little blurb every day about what happened. But then every 3 months of therapy, we do a deep dive with the parents in a parent-only conversation, a meeting. So that way we can go over what exactly that's been happening, what are the sticky points, what are the like great successes, and where we want to move as a minimum for our next quarter of therapy. And so that way they feel like they get to really understand. And then we send home a homework binder. So as the kids are becoming more successful, we can say, here, add this to your homework binder, this little sheet in a protector. Go ahead and put it in your binder and you can work on this at home as well. We want the frustration, if there is any frustration, to be in the clinic and not at home. So we don't necessarily want you to emulate everything that we're doing in the clinic. We also offer that families can Zoom in so that way they can still see everything that's happening. But that way the therapist and the child get to develop that relationship that I was speaking about earlier. So I definitely think that parents should be a part of the therapy process. I feel like the partnership is really what makes everything work to the very best.
You only are in therapy at most an hour to 2 hours a week. You need to maximize the time you're there and learn everything you can so that they can practice outside of therapy. Therapy is only the start. It's not everything.